Hello, welcome to an all-new DC Cast, Explosion Network's hub for discussing all things DC Comics related, a place to talk about everything happening in Metropolis, Gotham, and beyond. I'm your host, Ash Hobley. Join me today, Dylan Blight.
Happy to be here and talk about how I really thought this episode was going to start with another Peacemaker. What a joke. But then it didn't.
No. Yes, today we're talking about the latest episode of Peacemaker, so let's just dive straight in. Please be aware we will be freely discussing anything and everything about plot themes and ending of the episode. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. With that said, let's talk about it. Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 5, Back to the Suture. Directed by Alethea Jones. Written by James Gunn. Dylan, what did you think of this week's episode of Peacemaker?
Yeah, I think last week it was fine. Nothing. I think this is probably the 2-episode dip. That I think we were in a bit. It was like pacing wise, it was a little bit weird just with the whole, the conversation at the start feels rushed between him and Harcourt a bit, and then obviously gets his ass beat, and then the fact they needed to do was put his name on record and they let him go. Like there was a lot of just stuff that just felt easy answered, and I don't know, sort of got us from A to B in a way that a lot of stuff just felt forced. And then also the Eagly showdown, I was like, okay, like funny, but I don't really know what the point was.
Yeah, I feel like this episode with last week's episode maybe give the impression that James Gunn didn't have 8 episodes worth of content with the storyline, and he's kind of stretched this out maybe a little bit. We could have had a solid 6-episode run with like longer episodes potentially this season. Yeah, I mean, enjoyed it. We're finally getting to the place where Chris is just going to go try and commit to living this whole entire other life. We finally got to see Rick Flag kind of show his true colors and that kind of thing. Everybody's heart was broken at the end of the episode, especially Adrian's.
Yeah, Adrian crying was like, for a second, I was like, this is funny, but then I was like, actually, it's kind of
pretty depressing, Like, I'd be pretty depressed if you decided to just suddenly disappear to another universe, never return again.
I can imagine that. Imagine if you never knew. Imagine if you just don't. I just disappear off the face of the earth. Just crazy. How would you even find out? How would you even begin to look into if you disappeared off the face of the earth? I'd send Buddy to knock on your door.
Yeah, that's true.
What would you do for me?
Send somebody to put up posters around Lord System. Have you seen this man? But it's all the clips from YouTube video era with the long hair.
Yeah, they're that totally out of date pictures and everything.
Yeah,
it'll work. It's fine.
Let's talk about this week's episode. Cold open this week. 3 years prior, Harcourt and economists attend the funeral of Rick Flag Jr. with a devastated Rick Flag Sr. swearing to take action. He asks Harcourt to help in identifying his son's killer, and while she does not provide a name, he promises to help her in the aftermath of the mission. Harcourt promises the person responsible will pay.
They want to love a bit of these just building. I'm sort of sick of this stuff at this point. I'm like, I get it.
I think this would work if you believed Harcourt actually could be betraying Peacemaker. It's like, if you got the impression that she was been stringing him along this entire time.
Yeah, I get the impression that she would have last season. I just they did the thing where unfortunately they had written the characters in a way that I now believe that she did blame him, but has moved past that within her life, and Rick Flag has not. So yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, other than to reinforce again Rick Flag's holding this multi-year long grudge.
He's a grumpy boy.
Also, father like son, they both love the LOL ladies. It's establishing so far. And I will say, so we go to the opening credits, I'm starting to warm up. to the opening. It's definitely one that grows on you rather than the first season, which just was amazing straight out of the gate.
I think the difference between you and I for this was I had listened to the band before, so yeah. Julia.
Okay, in present day, Harcourt arrives at a park with Rick Flag Sr. and Argus are monitoring. Chris arrives, but he's aware of the operation as Harcourt gave him a code word. He asks if they ever meant anything, and she says no, as she still harbors strong feelings over Flag's death. And Argus agents approach him. Chris attacks and takes one hostage. Before Bodo can shoot him, Harcourt aggressively fights Chris, knocking him unconscious. In custody, let's just stop there.
I was gonna say my favorite part was just him petting the dogs, and for I didn't even think he was like
this is pretty random.
I thought he was just petting dogs, to be honest.
Well, what did you think when he started playing soccer with all the kids?
That's when, I did. Yeah, I was like, okay, he's just being careful. But when he was petting the dogs, I just accepted that
seems like a rational thing that people would do.
No. It seems like a thing he would do. It seems like a thing he would do. Yeah,
maybe. But yeah, I thought solid sequence, and because it a little bit off-putting, you didn't realize whether it was by accident he was doing all this, but no, it was very clearly on purpose.
Yeah, it's also not because he's super smart; it's just because he got a code.
She told him pretty much not to. But yeah, pretty brutally, telling him, despite them apparently having a moment on the boat, is he mean anything to her? And it would think it's a mistake.
What if they're going to flash back to this night?
Surely one of these cold opens is going to be that. So 3 weeks left. We'll see. We get one major reveal during this opening sequence, which is that Porto is actually half cyborg. Or full cyborg, I guess, because cyborg is half human, half robots. But yeah, that's a big reveal.
I thought I had this spoiled for me because someone I saw an article pop up last week that was like, oh, she's like some character from the Batman comics. I don't know, something like that.
Well, in my my mind immediately went to Lex Luthor, whose assistant is usually some sort of cyborg, which I guess he upgraded to the engineer in the last film, so he's much more than just a cyborg. Harcourt takes him out because he's going to get shot, but it turns out later that was Rick Flag's plan all along.
No, well, do you actually believe him? Because I don't. He was just beating the shit. He was just going by the wing. I didn't believe that was so he's like, I'm playing 3D chess and Chris is playing 2D chess moment. He's like, yeah, well, I said that so he would get saved. And then I beat him up because then I knew he would put his thing in the system. And then now I've got fucking what's his face tailing him, and all this distracts him from probably realizing that. I'm like, nah, dude. That's all you're just covering your ass. Yeah. I don't believe him. Yeah. And again, I'm just like, what are we talking about here? It's Argus, a big secret, sort of part of the government agency. And they're like, oh, he booked him in the normal police system, so now we better let him go. What?
Well, I guess he because they beat him up, it ruined his face, They didn't want to, get any... Because obviously Argus is currently under scrutiny on the back of the Amanda Waller stuff as well.
I guess so. It just seems so, I'm like, really? It's just, they book it in the police system? That's all it took to get him out?
Yep. That's how the law works, But I'd enjoy the whole economist Targot thing of, you need to book him because then they won't be able to make him disappear, It's like, don't you know, I'm a pussy.
Also, them when they're like, "Who'll reckon it was me?" and he reckons he'll get in trouble. But he's probably the best person at just getting away with everything so far because he just plays along in such a It's like, oh, sorry, guy. Sorry, I'm just trying to take some busy way around. Sorry, some of us are trying to do a fucking job. The
interesting thing as well, Fleury, was
he said good job or whatever.
Good job. Somebody needed to do that because I don't think he was on board with the potential killing of Chris and Rick Flag was going hard, Yeah,
that's what I mean. He was going to kill him.
I don't think Cena had a stunt double and was taking those knees to the head, to the wall.
He's selling good.
He was selling very good, you know. Wasn't even putting up a fight, you know. So, in the woods, Red St. Wilds uses a large rifle to shoot at Eagly.
That rifle was so large, actually. It was nearly looking like it should be 3D poking out of the screen.
It was ridiculously large, like overcompensating for something.
Yeah.
Of course, this is after he tried to poison Eagly with a rat that unfortunately was stolen by a local fox, who then proceeded to have a grisly, terrible, awful death.
I did enjoy the just the POV as the other two are leaving the house from like behind him with the camera, and him just being like, "Wow, where are you going?" And they're like, "So it's like, bye, Eagly, see you later." He's like, "Oh," and then the fucking turns around, sees the fox. Oi,
motherfucker!
Yeah.
It's like, and then he's like, "Oh, got lucky there." But yeah, Red. He shoots. He shoots another bird. An eagle is revealed to have brought more eagles, confirming St. Wild's belief that Eagly is the primal eagle. The eagles all take turns attacking St. Wild until they kill him. This storyline ended up way shorter than I expected, and just did not have the payoff that I thought it was going to have. Well, I mean, it technically did have the payoff that I expected to have, but it came a lot sooner than I was expecting, to say the least.
What was the point of this? Just for fun?
Yeah,
I don't really feel like I don't. Yeah, well, does he? Like he's literally a bird psychic. Like I don't know how much character development I need for Eagly, to be honest. No offense to Eagly. They just
proved he had this awesome action scene. They needed to bring in a specific person to try and take him out, and that specific person who's trained in killing eagles was unable to kill him. You know. And now we find out he's a superpowered eagle. It seems. On top of everything, so
he's a god eagle. I am a god eagle.
But yeah, what a way to go! Just a whole bunch of talons and beaks, and like you try to stab an eagle, and you know,
went out doing what he loves, though. You know what I mean? You can't say he didn't. You know,
he got one last one before. You know, so I'm
not sure how else
I don't know how he could possibly aim properly with that giant rifle, but
fuck to find out. I don't know how anyone ever shot those stupid guns in the 1800s. And we just fucking 20 minutes to reload.
Chris returns to the cabin alone after saying goodbye to Adebayo and Adrian, unaware that Juno Master has followed him, with the latter revealing the cabin's location flag in flurry. Chris writes a note for Adebayo to find and send her a text to bid farewell, prompting her and Adrian to return to the cabin. I mean, using the device, Chris enters the quantum chamber as the rift begins to close. Juno Master watches this, and after failing to warn Flurry on the phone, writes a note before entering the chamber himself. Adebayo and Adrian arrive just as the rift closes and are forced to leave with the note.
I've gone in the door note from Juno Master. That's the fact he stopped to write that quickly. I don't know, just something about that was weird to me.
Well, he didn't want people to think he just disappeared, you know?
No, just
he couldn't leave a message.
Also, the fact that Peacemaker now knows, like, after struggling to use the door thing, he's like, yeah, I know exactly how to set it up to do, like, auto shutdown mode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, he'd done it a few times as a kid, you know, so. But, yeah. It would be a solid plan if you didn't have to leave it behind, I guess.
I mean, could you pull it in the other side? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I guess he's committing to this new life completely, too. You know, which isn't surprising, given all the foreshadowing he gave, and is of the belief that Harcourt like fucked him over on purpose, you know, rather than saved his life, really. I will also say, obviously, we go back to Argus, and Bordeaux has taken a sudden interest in Reflex Senior. Does that seem suspicious to you?
Taking an interest in what?
Like a romantic interest, or like he's giving him the eyes and they're getting all close, you know?
Are we just saying he likes to fuck? Like,
I mean, yes, but she is suddenly on the prowl, I think, which I think is suspicious. It might just be because she's cyborg now that I'm very suspicious.
You just suspicious of cyborgs?
I don't think it's wrong to be suspicious of cyborgs. I don't think that's a crime.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. That's fair. It could be a crime.
AI is coming for us all,
Yeah.
Yeah. But, if she is tied to other villains in the DCEU, maybe she's gone undercover in August and or she's been, she's working for somebody, just trying to take Rick Flag out with the sexy times. Because she's like, yeah, I would have been totally on board with you killing him. Hard eye emojis.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, it was really cool, Ugh.
That was so cool the way you beat him up.
Yeah.
I love how you nearly murdered that man in that interrogation.
Cold blood, yeah.
That was so sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Fleury comes in as they're being all close and all that kind of stuff, so.
He gets treated like the third man.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want, Fleury?
Yeah. Cockblocking, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking cockblocker.
Adebayo reads the note to Adrian, Economist, and Harcourt, in which Chris states that he could not find redemption here and will instead start a new life in the alternate universe with Eagly and the ultimate Keith and Augie. Harcourt takes the device and vows that they will bring Chris home. In the alternate universe, Chris happily meets with the other Harcourt in the episode. Of course, he meets the other Harcourt after he and the other top trio go and defeat a giant murderous kaiju in the middle of town. Disappointed we didn't get to see that?
I am a little bit. Yeah, I mean, especially because I was watching Kaiju number 8 last night. And I thought I was about to get a
live action crossover.
Yeah. So, disappointed.
I also love that he just explains Eagly. It's a rescue eagle.
Yeah, his Rob doesn't question it. Oh, you're so weird, Chris.
Yeah.
That's so you, Chris.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously Adrian took the news pretty hard. Bawling like a child who learns their friend has moved to another state.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they're gonna go rescue Chris. They're gonna figure out.
Yeah, how they gonna get it open?
I know Adebayo seems to know how to work the thing, so I guess they're gonna risk it.
If they can work it out that quick, I don't know. That just seems weird to me.
Dylan, we have 3 episodes left. They need to figure out quickly.
Yeah, I know, but just.
Any other thoughts on this week's episode of Peacemaker?
Nah, I mean, look, by the time you got skipped all the, you click there, you skip all the fucking trailers and shit. You have to watch at the start of streaming services now, apparently. Then I was like, oh, there's only 30 minutes left, so not much to know. Shot one again.
Also, it's interesting to note Adrian's newest...
That was the longest pregnant pause I've ever seen in my life. I know that will get edited out, but holy fuck. Yeah, go on.
We learned another one of Adrian's favorite topics. Manta rays.
Manta rays. Yep. How many manta rays does it take for you to shut the fuck up? I watched the after credits.
Yeah. One if it's got a stinger in.
It's like, what do you call it? No, he goes, what do you call a group of manta ray? A murder? It's like, no, it's school.
I don't know if that's even true because it's a school of fish, right?
I don't know, but I mean, school's fish, so it does make more sense.
All right. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode of Peacemaker on social media by going to explosionnetwork.com/follow. If you want to help us out here at All New DC Cast, leave us a review and a podcast on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people. And if you want to help keep the lights running over at Explosion Network, head over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Be sure to watch next week's episode of Peacemaker and join us next time for another All New DC Cast.